To continue with the discussion on publications that relate to protector deities, probably the most famous book in English, the most famous book, in many ways, the most important book, is called Oracles and Demons of Tibet, and it is by a fellow named Rene de Nebesky-Wojkowitz, and the publication was done in 1956. Now, this book has been quoted extensively in many, many different publications over the last really 65 years, 66 years since this book came out. Now, the book is a little bit dense. It uses a form of Tibetan transliteration, so a form of what we call today Wylie. So it's difficult to read with the Tibetan words because they're not done with an English person in mind. They're done with somebody, a scholar in mind, who knows how to back transliterate Romanized words into Tibetan language, and I really understand who is the intended subject. Now, the book is divided into 3 or 4 parts. 2 or 3 parts mainly: the iconography of protective deities, and then the cult of different practices for those deities. Now, this book can be useful. In general, it can be useful. If you don't know any Tibetan and you don't know Wylie transcription of Tibetan words into English, then it will be quite difficult to use. If you don't have experience in one tradition or another of Tibetan Buddhism, then again, this will be a problem for you, because the book itself uses many, many different sources. Now, for the protector deities, for the part 1, iconography of protective deities, it's divided into 6 chapters. Protective deities general, then Paldentlamo, the group of the Gompo, Mahakala, some wealth deities, Vaishravana, Kubera, and Jambala, Shinje, and related deities, and then number 6 they call Chamsing. Now, these are confusing right away because they're not in a proper order of hierarchy. Also, there's a real problem here because the 3rd chapter, called the group of the Gompo, it is really misunderstood because Nebesky-Wojkowitz is thinking that the Tibetan word Gompo is a translation of the word Mahakala, which it is not. Mahakala is in Tibetan is Dorje Nakpo. Gompo in Tibetan, back translated into Sanskrit, would be Nata, or Nata or Natha, and here it would mean Lord. Now, the term Nata, or Lord, or Gompo is commonly used for Mahakala, but it's also used for Maitreya, Manjushri, Vajrapani, all of the 8 great bodhisattvas. So it's used for many, many different figures, but this is the publication which created the problem and the confusion in the English language with the word Gompo and Mahakala, and making them synonymous. This is also the publication that created the problem of the belief that there are 75 different forms of Gompo or Mahakala. And it's true, there are 75 forms of Gompo, but there's not 75 forms of Mahakala, because the Gompo that they're referring to and the 75 are retinue figures for Mahakala. So there's a lot of translation issues and misunderstandings. So, yes, this is an important book. Yes, you should be aware of it, but it's an advanced book. It's not for beginners and it's not for intermediate students. It's really an advanced book because it can lead to so much confusion if you don't have a good foundation or a good background to start with. So, press the like button, subscribe, and you can join HAR on Patreon for exclusive videos, exclusive articles, exclusive images before they go up onto the Himalayan Art Resources website as well.